Hello, Data. Happy Wednesday. I guess you'll be watching this on Wednesday. I've got a great joke for you. How many tickles does it take to get an octopus to laugh? How many tickles does it take to get an octopus to laugh? I'll let you think about that for a second. It takes 10 tentacles, tentacles to get an octopus to laugh. It's bad. Yeah, I'm laughing at my own jokes. All right, so we have a box of Triscuits today. And the box of Triscuits represents a prism, right? Triscuit. I think it's written like that, but I can't remember. And they're those little crackers that are usually triangles, but they come in different shapes too. I just like the plain ones. I like to put stuff on them, ham, cheese, even dip them in guac, salsa. I'll do whatever. They're good stuff. But anyway, Triscuits. We have a box of Triscuits. It's 6 inches long. It's 2 inches wide, and it happens to be 8 inches tall. And we're going to find the volume of that thing. Okay, we'll find the volume of it. And to find the volume of it, it's actually the old length times width times height is true, but I want to approach it in a little bit different way. So I'm going to go volume equals, and I'm going to call it area of the base times the height. And you're going to see why we're going to find it this way shortly. So the volume is area of the base. So this base down here now, I'm going to draw the dotted lines in there so we can see them. And by the way, this geometry review stuff, if you're not a fan of geometry, only today and tomorrow. That's it. No more geometry, and then we'll start looking at final exam. We've got a couple other odds and ends to wrap up. Start thinking about the final project. Many of you can exempt. You need an 80%. That's all you need, and you can exempt the final exam. So, but let me take that back. I'll let you know about that, because if we determine it's a project, so you have more days to work on it, then we won't exempt. So if it's a one-time test thing, you can. So we may do the project to get it out of the way. I'll let you know more on that soon. So anyway, volume is area of the base times the height. So this base is a rectangle down here, okay? And I'll draw it right here. It's 6 by 2. To find the area of any rectangle or square, all I do is multiply 6 times 2. So 6 times 2 is the area of the base. That's this times the height of the prism, 8. Now, it's 6 inches times 2 inches times 8 inches. So when you do this, 6 times 2 is 12 times 8 is 96. The key is you get inches 3 times, cubic inches, 96 cubic inches. So if I were to picture this, like try to picture this. If I had 1 cubic inch, right? So if I had one little cube in here, it would look like that. One little tiny baby cube. There's one of them. And then there'd be another one that would stretch to the back like that, right? So I have 2 of them in there, and I would fill this whole Triscuit box up with these little cubes, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. And I would have 6 of them. So I have 12 of them on the bottom. How many little cubies fit in there? That's a new word for you, cubies, right? Because there's 6 going across here. I started drawing too big, but you get the idea, right? So that would be how I'd find the volume of the box. How many little cubes would fill up the box? The answer is 96 of them to fill it up, because the bottom would have 12, and then I'd multiply by 8 going up, and I'd have 96. So finding the volume of prisms and cylinders. Cylinders now, okay? So here's a cylinder. What is a good cylinder to talk about? Let me see. A can of baking powder, and you don't want to mix up baking powder and baking soda. Baking soda comes in the box. Do not put that in place of baking powder. They are completely different. And if you've ever tried cookies or something where somebody did, they are bad, right? So we've got a cylinder of baking powder. Let's make up some dimensions for this. So I have the dimensions of, let's say they're 10 centimeters tall, working centimeters, and 2 centimeter radius. And be careful, you might get a diameter of 4, but you got to know to cut that in half to get the radius. So the beauty of using the formula from up here, area of the base times the height, for a prism, is because a cylinder has 2 bases, it's going to be the exact same formula. Area of the base times the height. Now let's think about this base. This base down here is a shape that you know well. And that is a circle. And the formula for the area of a circle is pi r squared. So when you're doing a cylinder, it's going to be pi r squared times the height. Volume equals pi times the radius, I think I said 2, squared times the height, 10 centimeters. I'm going to put this into our calculator. Volume equals. Now, let's think about the labels on this. I'm going to have centimeters squared, so that's centimeters times centimeters, and then one more. So my answer should be centimeters cubed when I am all done, which should make sense. Anything volume is going to be centimeters cubed. All right, so let's see here. Let's go pi times 2 squared times 10. Whoa, that is not going to work, Mr. Manor. Pi times 2 squared times 10. Pi 2 squared times 10 gives me 125.66 cubic centimeters for the volume of any cylinder. Okay, so you're going to be using some real life ones. We've done surface areas so far, and now we're going to do the volume of these things. The volume of a prism cylinder, same formula. You just have to know that the area of a base, and we'll stick to rectangles and squares. So all you have to do is do length times width. And cylinder, pi r squared. So length times width here for a rectangular square prism, and then for cylinders, pi r squared. Now, just so you know, if you're going to area the base, if you ever were asked to do a triangular prism, right? So let's say you were asked to do a triangular prism, you would do the area of the base, so it'd be this triangle, times the height, which is this length here. Okay, so area of the base times the height, because like a triangular prism, it's laying down. This would be a base, and that would be base. Bases would have to be parallel and congruent. Now we're not going to do those, but it's the same formula. Anytime you have two bases, 1, 2, 1, 2, you will get the same formula for finding the volume. Find the area of the base, multiply by the height. The height of the prism here, height of the cylinder there. The height of the cylinder is actually laying down here because the bases were here and here. So the height is the distance between the two bases. You could lay that Triscuit box right on its side and get the exact same answer using the different base. 8 times 2 is your base. That's okay, because in the end, it's 6 times 2 times 8. Fine. Here you can't lay it down because there's no bottom then, right? If you lay it on its side, it doesn't have a bottom. The base has to be a flat surface for it to lay on. So it's either got it this way, or you could flip it upside down. So, baking powder. Do not replace with baking soda in a recipe. Have a great day.